So this is my sky demo for you today. So I'm going to be doing just the blues, the white, and the red to make the blue sky, because I'm looking at a blue sky. I'm actually looking at a sky out my glass window. I have a huge floor-to-ceiling glass window, and this is what I'm looking at. There's not much cloud cover today, so I've got a photo of a cloud out there that I like. Anyway, that's my reference, so I'll be showing you a little bit of how to use these colors to make a sky. First of all, I'm going to tone the canvas with this transparent red oxide made by Cobra. And I've wet my paper towel. I'm just going to tint it with this. I'm actually going to take it off the easel so I can get the corners. It's called tinting to a glow. Knocking off the white. I just don't want a white canvas. So this will give us a nice glow underneath the paint. So I'm just wiping it in, and hopefully it will be nice and set in there for the paint to go on top. So I'm using a wall easel and a vertical palette for you. So on the vertical palette, I have 3 blues. On the left side, I have ultramarine blue. To the right of ultramarine blue, I have cobalt blue. Then I have my white in the middle. Then I have my cerulean blue. You can also use manganese blue because it's the same. This one is cerulean, all by Cobra, and this is Cad Red Light. This is a vertical palette, so a little juicy paint does flow downward. Gravity. Anyway, so we've got this glow color on here. And we're going to look at the sky and know that the sky is the lightest part of the canvas. And since I am a palette knife painter, I'm going to be using my 2 palette knives. This one is what I call my beginner non-flex one. It's very, very, very tight, whereas this is very flexible. So we're going to use this, and it is the lightest part of the painting. So I'm going to go ahead and skim some light color, which is white, and just get it wet. I'm going to make a lot of noise skimming. I want a very, very, very thin layer. The skim is just there to get the paint started. The nice thing about this tint with the transparent red oxide is it has a little warmth to it. The sky, as it reaches to the earth, is warmer here. Can't really see it in these photographs, but I can really see it outside. This will be the land mass eventually, but right now we're concentrating on the sky. Wetting this, skimming this to wet it, very thin. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it wet. These are magnets that hold my canvas on the metal pads here. I do love this easel. It's really wonderful. Especially for teaching online. This upright wall is great. Okay, that's nice and tight. Okay, this is going away, so we wipe this clean. And we take up the flex one. So my horizon line is going to be somewhere in here. Somewhere, not in the middle, but maybe up or beyond, depending on how this works. Somewhere not in the middle, but below or above it. You don't want to have your eye in the middle of a line. You want to have it just a little below or a little above the middle of the canvas. So we're going to mix some color. So I'm going to mix some ultramarine with some white. And I'm going to make little puddles of nice color. Now what's going to happen is this is going to be a little too bright for me in this particular sky, but we will tone it with a little red. Tone it down just an eyelash of red and make it a little less brilliant. Red being the complement of blue. Well, you know, red-orange is the complement of blue. Actually, orange is, but red-orange is still a complement. So that's a good range of blue. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to do the cobalt blue next, so you'll see the difference in the brilliance of the blue. I like having the 3 blues. This is the warmer, and this is the cooler. That's cobalt, of course. And the ultramarine can really go both ways. So it's a great blue because it can go both ways, warm or cool. Temperature is very important. Now you see how much more brilliant this is. It's more powder blue, the cobalt is. So that's going to be in the range of the middle sky, where this is going to be probably at the top of the sky. And then this cerulean blue will be lower sky. Now you'll get to see this blue in contrast to these. This is not working. This wants to fall down on me. Yep. There we go. Maybe that'll work. So now you can see the difference. This is really warm on its own, but it's not as dark as the blue. So that's why we don't use each color individually. Okay. They all do a temperature change, so you have to know that. That's why you need to practice using these 3 blues and really look at them to see the nuances of each one and where to use each color in the sky. Oh, this is a pain. All right, so we're going to start here in the corners with the ultramarine. We're going to have a little bit of trouble today, I think. Nothing's working well. Okay, we're going to start this in the corners. I want you to see that this on the palette, on the canvas, so that you can get an idea where we're going with these temperatures. Okay, so just go in the corner, maybe at the top too. I'm going to take this off and do the top. So this second coat grabs onto the first skim nicely. That's why we do a skim coat, and then we do the grabbing. So we don't have to get this on perfect. What I like about the palette knife is you can be free and loose, and then you don't tighten up and make a mess. This really keeps it very, very creative and fun. Okay, so look at that color of blue. Then we're going to go to the more brilliant, so you can see the difference. So you can see the difference in the grayish blue, and then you have the more brilliant. Because I didn't put any red in this because I want this to be the blue that is colorful when you need it. You don't want the whole sky to be that colorful. You want gradations. Now down here at the lower part, there's your lighter tone, see, of the cerulean, the warmer, lighter. So now you see all 3 of the blues in contrast with one another in the concept of the sky. So there's your blue. And you can have fun playing around, practicing this. And know that this is going to hit somewhere, landscape, trees, or probably the trees that I'm seeing out there, which are palms and scrubby oaks and wonderful, wonderful woodlands there by my pond. I have a rookery behind my house. Okay, so now we're going to make some grays. Now that you've seen the three differences of the blues, we're going to make some nice grays for the values of the clouds. So we want to sort of draw in the shadows of the clouds with the ultramarine. I'll put this right here in the middle. I'm having a little problem with this palette today. It just won't stay closed, but we'll keep at it. Okay, so here's the red coming in to make the gray. So now you see it's really going to gray up. Okay, don't do that to me. That's why I have lots of these things. Lots of these clips. Okay, so this is going now, it's going to go to a little purple. I'm going to go ahead and add the second blue. Okay, time out here. We're going to find some tape. This is not working well. Okay, we'll fix. Okay, so this is going to purple. That red is pulling into the ultramarine blue mix and the cobalt mix into a nice colorful gray. I use both blues because you get a more interesting gray using the warm and the cool. And then we'll add some more white to get it a light gray. The gray is very important that you don't get it too dark and you don't get it too blue, but yet blue enough where it will contrast to what's there. So we can keep lightening it with the white and get a few piles of this cloud gray. See, that's much lighter. So let's just go and get some. I got lots of paint on here, so we'll get lighter. So we have at least 3 cloud grays. Okay. Darker value, middle value, lighter value of grays using the 2 blues and a touch of red. Grayed it down or neutralized it. Graying down, literally gray color today, but most of the time you're not working in gray color, so you're working with maybe, you know, orange and purple or something, so you're not getting a true gray, but neutralize is the word. So now we've neutralized the blue with the red, and we have these 3 contrasting grays. So, all right, so I'm going to put this down here at the bottom, let it blend into the bottom of the blue that I already put in there. Now, this is going to be called, palette knife. I'm going to call it sculpting, because what I'm doing is letting it just grab on and make these marks. I call these marks different funny names like stipples and stutters. So this is a grayish, pinkish. I almost see a little pinky purple coming through, because that's where it's the lightest, where it comes down to the earth. So let's just pretend these are my trees popping up in there. All right, so that's nice. Got a nice light gray sky at the end of my completed sky there. So I'm going to use the middle to create a few clouds. So this is the shadow area. And I'm going to just pick out a few clouds up there in the picture. And make an undershadow use the middle. So it's really not that hard if you get everything formulated and mixed up carefully. Then you just clip along. And I'm just patting this in there. There's the bottom of what's going to be a white cloud in front of it, on top of it. Let's put this darker one here, darker value of the gray here. Let's make him come down. So he's darker, just subtle darker. And another dark one. Let's let him go like this. You got to take the knife. Of course, you have the brush. You do the same thing. You just ease it the direction you see it in. So this is going like this. So palette knife is moving like that too. Here's one going upward sweep. So we're going to put a darker one there. So now we've got sort of a road map of where the sky is going to go. Let's do one here. Clouds are very abstract. They're a lot of fun to do with palette knife. Let's put one here. So just here and there and yonder, not perfect. Okay, so now we're going to do the cloud. So the cloud is pure white, and I like to have on hand a touch of yellow. So this one is yellow ochre. So just a touch to warm it up when I want it warm. And of course it's cool right out of the tube. So we'll have warm white and cool white. So this is coming undone again. Okay. Probably need some duct tape today. This is really, usually it stays. Okay. There we go. All right, so let's make a pile of warm next to the cool. It's almost a tone color. Might be too warm, so we'll get it a little cooler. Uh-oh, I just added some blue-gray to it. I didn't mean to do that, but that's what happens. Okay. Sometimes I just load my knife. I just put the paint right on the knife. If I need a lot of it, I just put it on the knife. Anything goes. There we go. That's a warm white that I'm looking for. And then I'll put this next to it so you can see the contrast of the white right out of the tube. All right, so we've got this warm, and we're just set it right over the shadow. Right into it, right over it, right into it, whatever. Over and in. That one's going to be big. Okay, put that one there. Put this one here. Here's some warm white here. And we just slip some into this lovely warm sky area in here. Let it just stutter and stipple and make these little marks with the palette knife. And right over it, we're just going to go straight into the white, right out of the tube, and let it contrast into the shape, warm and cool. Not worrying about how it looks right now. We're just trying to get some temperatures going. I wipe my knife a lot. If I don't have enough paint or too much, I just wipe it off with a paper towel and let that go in there. So basically, you're creating a pattern so you can work with it. Okay, a little bit more in here. Let that funnel up there. Okay. Now, this cobalt blue that I showed you earlier, showed the different contrasts of the blue, is really brilliant now. You can see that. So that's why it's important to have the cobalt and white ready to go to do some of this brilliance. I can see that I probably need a little bit more of that here and there, but I want to get the clouds situated here. But I'm glad this is showing up so you can see the difference of the ultramarine blue, the cobalt blue, and the cerulean blue. It's really pretty, 3 different blues, making an interesting sky. If we're all the same blue, it wouldn't be interesting. So that's why you do that. So now I'm doing what I call sculpting. I'm taking what's there and I'm merging the colors together and the shapes. So I'll just start here with this one. And this warm white is going to go merge right into the shadow color, and I'm turning my arm to make that cloud look like what I'm sort of seeing up there. I can't make it look perfect like in the picture. That's just a reference. This is what's going to be perfect here. So there we sculpted that cloud. Now we're going to sculpt this one. We're just going to move the paint, pat, move it. If it gets too much paint on there, I can either put it somewhere else or wipe it off. And I just get that warm and cool white to merge with that lovely gray shadow. I can turn the knife up and down, sideways. It'll change on me, but I can go back and change it again. So this one is really a nice, lovely, warm white in that picture. And actually, I'm seeing some of those now outside when I look out my window. So I'm patting, merging, very light touch, using about this much of the top of the knife. Okay, I think I'll go into the shadow color, the grayish, and of course, since it's contrasting next to the cloud, it's looking more purple, but that's good. That gray is becoming more purpley there. So I'm merging that into the cloud. That's the bottom of the cloud. So now I want to get it where the shadow and the cloud merge together to be seamless. So I'm going to use the flat of the knife. I'm just going to flatten it to merge it together. Now it's looking more like a shadow of the cloud. All right, let's keep going. Let's merge the shadow of the cloud into the sky. Sometimes you just have to flatten your knife out and do this. The brush would do that too. I could pull out a brush anytime I feel like I need it, but I like this tool the best. It keeps me a little bit freer. It's just me. So hopefully you'll find that to be true to you as well. And some of these clouds just drift, like this little string of warm and cool white. Just let it drift. That's what it does. That's what clouds do. Let it merge again. Okay. Gray in there, more gray. More merging. Let's finish this one up a little bit and let it drift. Let's let this one drift down from the corner. Oh, that cobalt's so pretty in there. Now I want to do some more cobalt. So we'll make a little pile of cobalt and white and put him maybe here. And maybe drift some here. Sometimes you fall in love with that if that's what you want to do more, but then it doesn't work. Put some in there. Let it drift. I'm going to scrape a little to get that to merge better. You can hear it. A little bit left there, I can put it here. Let it drift. Okay. So I can clean up around these drifting clouds. I'll just clean this up a little. Just pat it. Leave it. I like that. Okay. Clean that up a little bit by just patting it and pushing it in. Push up the cobalt in between the cloud, this cloud and that cloud, in between the two clouds. Let it drift to the ultramarine blue. Okay, I want to do some more ultramarine blue and white and put that at the top so it's a little darker. It's always darker. You know, the clouds go around the earth, you know, up and around. So this is darker and this is lighter because of the round world we live in. Let's add a little bit of that red, just a tiny little eyelash of red, not much. Sometimes people overmix and then they've got too much paint and I can't use it. Just a little bit to break it up. So we put that back up there. There's a nice contrast to the other blues. We've got a little red in there, but that's okay. Got a little purpley red, but that's just fine. Let's see. Put some more of that cobalt and white in here. So it has more of a brilliant, oops, it has a brilliance. And here, here, and here. Okay, we'll sculpt that a little bit. Sometimes the clouds have little blue holes in them because that's what clouds do. So again, we sculpted a little, pat, pat. Got a lot of paint on there so you can move it around. I call it sculpting because it's pretty much what it does. Let it merge together so it sort of feels seamless, but you see different colors in it. Different warm and cools of the blue in it. Okay, let's give it a little silver lining with the cool white right out of the tube. Let it just glide here and there. It's like frosting a cake. Not that I do that a lot, but I'm sure that's seems to be the way. Again, you merge that warm white into the cool white. So the cloud forms a bit of a turn, I guess. Turn would be the right word. Okay, if I need some breaks, I'll just put some more of the shadow color in there to break it up a little, or one of the blues. Yep. Some warm white on that. Yeah, there we go. Contrast that. More of this cobalt and white in here. This is such a light touch. You're just going to have to find it on your own. Your touch is different from mine, but it's a very light touch. Just the tip patting in there is all you need to know and all you need to try. Just as light as you can make it. Either side will do. Let's get that a little bit more patted in. Some of that tone is coming through and I like it. I see it every now and then. That's a good thing. That's why I like a tone on a canvas, so it will play off the color. If it's all white, well, you're fighting it. Okay, let's drift a few clouds down this way. They're very small at the very bottom of the cloud opportunity of the cloud in the painting. They're very small and drifty down here. They're not big like here. At least that's what I'm seeing today. Okay. I think that's probably enough for you to practice. I need to go back and look to see what to do next. But I think I like what I see, and I think I'm probably happy with what I have. Enough for you to have a lesson on cloud forming. Of course, I always say the painting's not finished until you get back and look at it a while, and maybe it needs to dry a little bit, and then you can have another opportunity to add or subtract what you've already done. Okay, so that's it for now. Practice this at home and let me know what you think. Ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, red, and all the tones. Lots and lots of white for clouds, of course. So happy painting, you guys.